Coach, first of all, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. Obviously, it's really tragic that Demaryius suddenly passed away. He was such a tremendous person. What do you remember the most about DT?
His smile. The amazing thing, he lit up the room whenever he walked in there, and he's such a great human being. He was a great football player, but he was a great human being. And I just remember how he was such a bigger than life personality almost.
At the time, Megatron was kind of on his way out. You guys really needed another receiver. What did you see in Demaryius that made you think that he could, live up to what Megatron had created at Georgia Tech?
Well, he obviously had size and speed, and he had the physical skills, but his personality, his work ethic, what he had overcome in his life to become the player that he was, just was amazing. And I knew that he was going to be a unique, special football player on top of being a special person.
I know it was a long time ago, but can you remember kind of those first interactions when you were trying to get him to come play Georgia Tech football?
Oh gosh, we went down and had dinner with Aunt Shirley, and it was just an amazing time when I was getting to know him, and it was just heartwarming to see where that young man was in life, and what he was looking forward to for his future. And it was great for me because I went down there to his hometown, and we spent an evening together. That wasn't the first time, but that's the one I remember the most because we were in this home, and it was a special time for us.
What did he teach you as a coach and maybe even as a human being?
There's no one way to do it. He was his own unique guy. He was different than Calvin, but he had a lot of the same traits. But there's no one way to get the job done. He would run a route differently. And what we were saying is, hey, you got to adjust. Every guy is different. So we were trying to get our quarterbacks to learn how to adjust with the players that we had. And he was in that special category for sure.
When did you start to realize that he was going to be something truly special?
Oh, it didn't take long at all to realize how good he was going to be. He was the guy that kind of adapted to the surroundings extremely well. He was a freshman, but he didn't act like a freshman. But he knew his freshman spot, and so he understood the big picture. And I knew that he was being able to adapt to the surroundings was going to allow him to be very successful.
And what was it like as a coach too? I know that he had so many friends that he played with at Georgia Tech, not just his teammates. A lot of them really respected him and were able to call him a friend. What was it like to watch him, be a leader and be so loved by all of his teammates?
I think that if you knew Demaryius, you wouldn't, you just wouldn't, you couldn't stay away from him. He was one of those guys that was just one of those guys that was just a magnet in a locker room, and that's what I remember about him.
What do you want or hope Demaryius's legacy will be?
I think that what people know about him is him. He didn't put on airs. He didn't try to be somebody he wasn't. He wasn't trying to be a superhero. He just was. He was a great player and a great man, and I'll miss him. I got to see him at the Hall of Fame when they inducted Peyton. He was up there and we were up there, and I was able to see him and spend a few minutes with him, and it was like we were just back at Georgia Tech. He was just that guy. It was great. He'll be missed greatly.
I was going to ask you, the last time you were able to see and speak with him, was it at the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it was at the Hall of Fame this past August. I was able to sit and visit with him for a few minutes. It was a great time.
And do you have one favorite memory of DT?
Oh gosh, No, just I don't have a favorite memory. Yeah, he made so many big plays during the course of the time, and then I'm gonna go back to the first thing I said. His smile. He lights up a room. When he walks in the room, he lights up the room, and that's what I'll remember forever.